itching to get some action.
I'm sure some poor dumb bastards will try and kill us sooner or later. You can have your fun then.
Goddess, I hope so. I joined the force to fight some bad guys, and we've been sorely lacking on the fighting aspect lately.
Kyle shifted the car into Hover Park and then powered down the vehicle. For just a moment, Zoey peeked over at her partner. Kyle Bronston, codename Atlas, was dressed in his preferred outfit, which was a black suit, white shirt, a solid black tie, and a pair of shined black loafers. He had a shaved head, dark brown skin, a pair of dark brown, almost black irises, and a neatly groomed mustache under his larger nose. Kyle was the paragon of professional excellence and style, which was the complete opposite of how Zoey Novikova carried herself. Today, Zoey wore her black leggings, a pair of onyx-colored knee-high leather boots that laced all the way up the front, a bright pink-dyed vinyl skirt, and one of her favorite rock band t-shirts. Today's band t-shirt was the Demon Heads. The black shirt contrasted well against Zoey's pale skin. Her arms were covered in wicked, full-sleeve tattoos that reflected her dynamic personality. On her right arm, Zoey had imagery that represented each of the 5 elements in unique, detailed ways. Each of the 5 components fit neatly together like puzzle pieces. Her left arm was covered in various images related to her favorite cartoon characters, nerdy symbols, and geeky passions. Zoey had blonde hair, which she tied into a braided ponytail that draped over her left shoulder. A crystal horn jutted from the front of her forehead, which is why her code name was Unicorn.
Are you ready to do what we do best?
Of course I am! What would these normies do without us, Guardians?
True, but then again, logically speaking, if there weren't any Guardians, then there wouldn't be any Renegades either. I wonder if the world would be better without people like us.
Nah, people will always be people, superpowers or not. Even if we didn't have extraordinary abilities, I'm sure you and I would be doing the same shit we're doing now. Fighting and stopping the bad guys and being awesome.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Let's get in there before one of the normies makes this mess even worse.
Zoey opened the passenger side door and then stepped out into the crisp night air. Dozens of impossibly tall skyscrapers stretched upward all around her, but that was the nature of the landscape of Sagin City. Streetlights lined the road, and hovering lane beacons floated above her, marking where traffic could fly between the buildings. Dozens of cars zipped through those lanes, oblivious to the carnage that had taken place on the street below. Zoey and Kyle walked toward the marked-off crime scene where the normie police had sanctioned off with barriers and guards. As per the usual, a small crowd had gathered around the perimeter of the barrier, hoping to see something exciting.
Hey, get back! This is a That horn! Are you 2 Guardians?
In unison, Zoey and Kyle flashed their Guardian badges.
I'm Atlas, and this is Unicorn, for obvious reasons.
I swear to the goddess I'm gonna rock you. We were told you have a suspect in custody, and we're gonna have a discussion with that lovely individual. Where are they?
The 2 factions started fighting in the bar there. We secured the perimeter and then provided medical attention to the suspect inside. He's the only one left alive, by the way.
Thank you. Let us in and we'll take it from here.
The normie police officer pulled the barrier back a little, which allowed a space for Zoey and Kyle to slip through. Ever so slightly, the officer glanced toward Zoey's forehead. She didn't need her psychic gifts to imagine what he might be thinking. Normies always stared at her horn. The crime scene was a local dive bar named Armpit Joe's, and it was a real grimy sort of place to meet up for lowlifes, and not the kind Zoey enjoyed spending time with. The exterior of Armpit Joe's was plain brown brick-colored, with an abundance of street tags and graffiti. Its front door had been blown off of its hinges and wasn't even in sight. Another normie police officer stood in front of the door, and they ushered Kyle and Zoey once they got closer. All of the lights for the bar had been turned on, which displayed the aftermath of the violence perfectly. Bodies were still laying on the ground, although other police staff were starting to outline them. Pools of blood and chunks of flesh were in various places like discarded drinks and trash. Scorch marks from energy blasts were marred into the walls, ceilings, and floors. Broken wood and metal from what used to be were also here and there. Several normie detectives were standing together, talking about what they found. But Zoey's eyes gravitated over to where the renegade sat against the wall. His hands were bound behind his back, and several armed police officers were standing over him, their energy rifles pointed at him. A pair of circular devices had been attached to the renegade's temples, and they both had pulsating red light indicators. The renegade was a lanky sort of guy. The kind of guy who probably had great metabolism and could probably eat anything he wanted. That lucky bastard. He had short brown hair and a pair of bloodshot blue eyes. The man wore a pair of dark green slacks, some worn black boots, and a black A-shirt that exposed all of his low-quality tattoos. Kyle waved toward the detectives, and one of them gestured toward the renegade. As they got closer, Zoey grinned widely as she activated her horn. And for just a moment, a dozen little voices echoed in her head.
Wow, that little blonde is smoking. I'd love to bend her over and show her my guardian.
So much death. I really hope they can get a lead.
Why am I itching so bad? I hope it's just an allergic reaction, otherwise Bethany's gonna find out.
Wow, there are bits of this guy here and bits of this guy there. I wonder if anyone will notice if I take some of him for my oddity collection.
You better not try and get in my head, Zoey Katrina Novikova. I swear to the goddess.
Zoey grinned wider as she focused her attention on the renegade. The renegade scowled as he locked gazes with her.
Why is that chick staring at me? Is she gonna blast me? Is this how I go out? Like a... Oh, snap, I love the demon heads.
Zoey smiled more, and she stood over the renegade, whose street name was Zoom Snatch. What a stupid street name. Kyle stood beside her and scowled at the bound criminal, which contrasted well with her demeanor. Zoey's horn continued to pulsate with soft light.
Why aren't they saying anything? Obviously, they're both guardians, but the dude looks like a hitman from the city council. They're wrong if they think I'm gonna narc. There ain't no way I'm gonna get on Lord Ravage's bad side.
Zoey regarded Kyle for a moment, and he nodded subtly. She bent down and grinned at Zoom Snatch. Her horn continued to glow.
Zoom Snatch is a stupid name.
What? How did she know that? I didn't tell these freaking cops my name. Maybe she's heard of me. Hey, screw you, bitch! My name is Awesome! Yeah, I sure told her off.
Nah, I like Bernard Jones II better.
How did she know that? Oh no, that chick has a horn! She's the unicorn! That bitch is crazy!
So you have a reputation for being a psycho. How fitting.
So, you have a reputation for being a psycho? How fitting! Shut the hell well up before I blast you. Listen here, Bernard. Unless you want to see how crazy I can really get, you had better cooperate.
Otherwise, Lord Ravage is going to hear you're cooperating with us.
No, you can't. I'm not telling you anything. I ain't a narc.
That won't matter, Bernard. You survived, and you got caught. No matter how it plays out, you are a loose end.
Lord Ravage knows about my Aunt Rachel and Nene. He's going to go after them.
We can protect your family if you cooperate. It is your best option.
For a long moment, Bernard peered at Kyle.
Oh shit, that's Atlas. He took out a whole crew by himself. The others never stood a chance. Big Brenda and the others won't stand a chance against both of them.
Zoe's horn shimmered brighter, and images flashed within her mind's eye. A specific warehouse, a dozen well-armed buddies, and a gargantuan-sized woman with gigantic muscles.
Last chance, Bernard. Are you going to cooperate or not?
I ain't no narc.
Well then, best of luck to Aunt Rachel and Nene. The rest of his gang are based out of a warehouse a few blocks away, somewhere off of 445th and Groom. While most of his posse are a bunch of punk-ass dweebs, their boss is gonna be a handful.
All right, let's go satisfy your itch.
No, you killed us! You killed me and my
Zoe's horn glowed even brighter, and suddenly, a hot pink arc of psychic energy blasted out and struck Bernard in the face. His body tensed up for a moment, and then Bernard fell unconscious. Zoe's horn stopped glowing after that. The armed police guarding him stepped back, and then all gazed toward Zoe.
No, he's not dead. I just mentally stunned him so he could shut the hell up. Look, I'm gonna give you the contact phone numbers for Rachel Matthews. Contact her and let her know that she and her daughter Nene have to be placed under guardian force protection for the time being.
Yes, ma'am.
Zoe and Kyle left the crime scene and then got back into Kyle's car. He typed in the cross streets into the navigator, and soon they were zipping down the street.
One of these days, we're going to find this elusive Lord Ravage.
That name keeps popping up wherever we go. It was a stroke of luck that we actually had a living perp. I only saw flashes, but Big Brenda looked meaner than shit. I meant it when I said handful. She can palm watermelons.
You said you wanted action. We'll make Lord Ravage pay. I promise.
I really appreciate you doing this. It really means a lot. I know you didn't really know Evelyn.
She was your best friend, and I am your partner. No matter where this journey leads, you can count on me. Ride or die.
And my life wouldn't be as complete without you being my other best friend. Step 1, beat the shit out of Big Brenda. Step 2, find Lord Ravage. And step 3...
Stomp his ass into paste, bury him, then salt the ground.
Zoe and Kyle parked the car close to where the warehouse base was. As they stepped out of the car this time, they each pulled out their energy magnums, standard-issue sidearms for all operatives of the Guardian Force. Slowly, Zoe took the lead, and she held her magnum steady. The entrance to the hideout was through some back alleys, shrouded by shadows and isolation. Zoe moved to the edge of a corner, and then peeked around. A single man leaned beside a dumpster filled with boxes and trash. The man had the appearance of a hobo, and he lounged about in the dirty alley.
The entrance is behind the dumpster.
So how do you want to handle this? Do you want me to go? Or you?
I will. Just be ready to jump in case it gets rough.
Zoe took in a deep breath, rounded the corner, and then started skipping down the alley, humming to herself. She tucked the magnum between her skirt and back, and then held her hands behind her back. Her horn glowed softly.
La 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 la.
Zoey noticed the hobo glanced up from his spot, and his body tensed a little.
What the hell? Where did she come from? Probably some drugged-out rocker chick. If she gets too close to me, I'll shoot her.
A small tickle danced in the back of Zoey's mind, but she kept her act up. Her max range for her psychic bolt was about 30 feet. Would this prick let her get that close?
She's even closer now. She has a rockin' body. Well, maybe I could trade some money for some,
Zoey's jaws clenched. Men were the worst sometimes. As soon as she made it within range, she hopped to a stop and then placed her hands on her hips. Her horn shimmered dangerously. The hobo tried to get to his feet, or maybe pull something from his pocket, but the psychic bolt arced through the air and slammed into his forehead. Kyle strolled up to her.
I would have shot your ass. Just saying.
I would have shot your ass. How about you stop talking shit and do your thing to the dumpster? If we move it, they'll know.
Kyle stepped up to the dumpster and then placed a hand on it. Slowly and surely, the dumpster began floating upward, up, until it was far above the top of the warehouse. A single doorway was behind where the dumpster once sat. Kyle touched the unconscious hobo lookout next.
If he wakes up and tries to move, he's going to think you paralyzed him.
Well, gravity's a bitch, isn't it? More importantly, my stunning lasts about an hour or so. He'll wake up long after your power wears off. After all, yours only lasts about 5 minutes, right? Typical male.
I don't know what's sadder. The fact you think you're funny, or that you have had a multitude of poor male companionship.
Okay, 1, screw you, I'm hilarious, and 2, I've not had a multitude of male companionship, poor or otherwise. You dick. Let's just get in there and kick some ass.
Kyle grinned from ear to ear as he got on one side of the door, while Zoey got on the other. Zoey raised one finger, then a second, and then a third. They kicked open the door and then rushed inside.